Привет, товарищам, меня зовут Paul, and we are here in perhaps my favourite place here in Moscow, which is the park VDNKh. So we're going to be exploring this week the central part of VDNKh. There's so much here to explore, and you're going to want to tune in right to the very end, because right at the very end we have a monument really closely connected with one of the great Soviet achievements and also one of the greatest achievements of humanity. Мой пойдем вместе. So for all of you that are wondering, what does VDNKh actually stand for? Well, it's obviously a Russian acronym for something, and the rough translation is something along the lines of the Exhibition of Achievements of National Economy. So, VDNKh was originally created as the All-Union Agricultural Exhibition in 1939, and this was later transformed into the All-Russian Exhibition Centre after the Soviet Union dissolved. In short, VDNKh features grand and monumental Soviet-era architecture, including pavilions dedicated to the many different industries and republics of the former Soviet Union. The architecture is a prime example of Stalinist empire style. People from all over the world come over to VDNKh, and obviously people from all over Russia as well. I'm so excited, so let's get right into it. And we're going to start this video off right here, which is at the main entrance of VDNKh in Moscow. And you can see here, this is known as the arch of the main entrance and serves as the general grand gateway to the exhibition complex in and of itself. The arc of the main entrance was completed in 1954 and is adorned with sculptures and reliefs depicting Soviet achievements in industry, agriculture, science and culture. And I want you guys here just to focus on that central part of the arc here, which shows a bronze composition of a tractor driver and a collective farm worker. And the whole point of this is to symbolise the Soviet Union's emphasis on both labour and agriculture together. And something as well that you may not know is that VDNKh actually is the largest exhibition complex here in Russia. It covers an area of approximately 2.3 square kilometres and includes more than 400 buildings and structures. Now, we are obviously here on a Sunday, which is why there's just so many people standing around. But hey, I guess all the more people here just shows what a great attraction this place really is. Now guys, keep in mind, you may not know this, but Lenin was actually an alias and was not the real name of the man himself. So the real name of Lenin was Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov. And who is Lenin? Well, Lenin was very much the founder of the USSR. He was the original leader of the USSR. He led the October Revolution and he died in 1924. And very much his figure changed into a cult of personality over the years. He was used for statues and things of that nature. Как вам, дедушка Ленин, да? Now, just to the side of the fountain we just saw is one of the pavilions to one of the various republics here in the USSR. And this here says Armenia. I'm not going to show every single pavilion here because it would just take too much time, but I'm going to just show a few as and when I pass through. Right then, guys, so the next thing I want you guys to do is to check out one of the other pavilions here related to one of the other former republics here of the Soviet Union. So we have right over here, if you can just see over here now, we have Republic Belarus, which, as you can imagine, is the Republic of Belarus. This building here, Roman column theme building, would you say? Looks cool. So this is the central pavilion here at VDNKh in Moscow, and perhaps it's one of the most iconic and historic structures here at the exhibition complex. The central pavilion was built in 1954 and designed by architect Vyacheslav Altajevensky, I hope I've said that right, in the Stalinist neoclassical style, featuring a monumental colonnade and a large central dome. Just check out the side of this pavilion here, it looks absolutely stunning. We've got all this gold decor and it just really sort of looks so grandiose in the whole grand scheme of things. Amazing, eh? The pavilion houses various exhibition spaces and hosts a wide range of events showcasing achievements in industry, agriculture, science, technology and culture. Now, I was actually here yesterday and there was a big concert playing at the time. Nobody's playing right at this moment. I don't know if we're inside a break or something. I've actually come back on the following day, which is on a Sunday. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out here, if anything comes around in the next half an hour or so. So guys, right behind me here is the Friendship of People's Fountain, and this was something that was built and unveiled in 1954 as part of the overall VDNKh ensemble. The Friendship of People's Fountain features a central golden statue of a woman holding a golden sheaf of wheat surrounded by 16 female statues representing the 16 Soviet republics at that time. And again, as you can see here, this fountain is a regular gathering spot and seems to be maybe most popular photo opportunity place here in VDNKh itself. Maybe a favourite for the girls of their Instagram profiles, etc, etc. Now guys, another real cool fact about this place, even though we're in a blazing hot summer's day, is that come winter, this park in VDNKh turns into the biggest ice rink here in Europe. Bit hard to imagine, but do you know what? In about 6 months' time, when we get some snow, I'm going to return back here, and I might even try ice skating myself, even though I'm a little bit like Bambi on ice. So guys, right behind me here is the second fountain here at VDNKh, and this is called the Stone Mountain Fountain, or should I say the Stone Flower Mountain. And this was actually inspired by the fairy tale The Stone Flower by Russian author Pavel Bajov, and it's one of the most intricate and artistic fountains in the exhibition complex. So what is the principle here behind the fountain? Well, it's supposed to symbol the harmony between man and nature, as well as the beauty and magic that can be found in the natural world, reflecting the themes of Bajov's literary work. The Stone Flower Fountain was unveiled in 1954 and features a unique blend of naturalistic and folkloric elements. The fountain consists of a central flower made of stone, surrounded by intricate bronze sculptures depicting characters and scenes from Bajov's fairy tale. Now, if you look closely, this contains some Russian Cyrillic letters here on the side, and I appreciate there's quite a few people around here at the moment, so it might be difficult to see. But in short, this says Rossiya, which basically just means Russia. This building that you see here in front has some letters inscribed on the building itself, just above these Roman pillars or Roman columns. It says Transport SSSR, which basically means transport of the Soviet Union. So just seeing this aircraft here just to the side of the rocket as well. I'm not actually sure what it is, but let's go and try and check it out. I just wonder if there's a few artifacts on the side here as well. Let's have a look, see what we can see. So, just on the side here, what can we see here? This here says Polyotna Trenazhoria Samolyota, which I think means something on the lines of flight in a training aircraft or like a flight simulator, something along those lines. And this part here this here says "С настоящим пилотом," which means with a real pilot, which unfortunately isn't me. And then you can see over here right in front of me now is some kind of military-grade helicopter, I think. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, helicopters scare the living death out of me. You wouldn't catch me dead in one of these things. Still, looks kind of cool. Now guys, this building behind me here, you can see this like domed entrance here, is what we call the Cosmos Pavilion. And the Cosmos Pavilion is maybe the most famous building we have here at VDNKh. The pavilion features exhibits related to space science, astronautics, astronomy, and the history of space exploration, highlighting the milestones of the Soviet space program. So the big question is, what can you actually do inside this Cosmos Museum itself? Well, you can learn about iconic missions such as the first human spaceflight by Yuri Gagarin, the Soviet robotic missions that have happened over the world as well, and also the construction of space stations like Mir and the International Space Station. Inside the pavilion itself, there's all kinds of interactive features and interactive things that people can do and look at in terms of models of spacecraft, spacesuits, and informational panels that provide insights into the technology and science behind space exploration. Okay, rебята, so I am here at the very final point here of the video today, and I wanted you guys to hold on. And if you recall at the start of the video, what I said was there was a really cool part of this park which is very much connected with one of the great Soviet achievements and also one of humanity's great achievements as well. And that is what you see behind me here, which is the Vostok-1 replica, which is the first spaceship that went into space with the pilot, or the astronaut, should I say, Yuri Gagarin. Now, it's not the actual one itself, because the actual rocket itself disintegrated on impact when it came back to Earth 60, 70 or so years ago, whatever it was. But even nevertheless, it's an exact replica and it is very, very cool. It's hard to actually put in words just how big this thing actually is, because right at the far end of the park, actually the rocket doesn't look quite so large, but up close here and personal now, it looks huge. Can't imagine what it would have been like in that thing. Well guys, that's about it from me this week. Next week I'm going to be in GUM, the famous shopping centre in the centre of Red Square, one of the most oldest and traditional places, and there's a shop for everything and anything there. So stay tuned and I'll see you in a week's time. Just leave it.